And good afternoon. I'm Jonathan McNamara with JMU Sound Off with a web extra. We're talking about the basketball tournament, or the TBT shorter term. It's the $1 million take-all tournament, and it is coming to the Atlantic Union Bank Center from July 18th to July 23rd. An opportunity for you as fans of basketball in the Harrisonburg area, as well as all through parts of Virginia, to make your way back to Harrisonburg and catch some great basketball action. And we are fortunate today to bring in the general manager of the squad, Joe Kuykendall. We're going to get to one of the players from the squad in just a second, but Joe, wanted to first of all give you a chance to introduce yourself and a little bit about your basketball background, and then we're going to get into a little bit about how you put this roster together. So we'll start with your background specifically and how you came to get the general manager and assistant coach position with the Founding Fathers.
Yeah, thanks, Jonathan, and thanks for having us. You can go all the way back to I was a men's basketball manager when I was an undergrad, so I was there in 2012 through 2016, so the Matt Brady era. Won the CAA my freshman year, so I was spoiled right away. That's actually the championship photo right there of us rushing to court right behind me from our old offices. When they moved over to AUBC, the secretary gave me the photo of us winning, which is kind of cool. But had a great 4 years working for that coaching staff and Coach Brady. And then it was actually around 2016 when TBT was really starting to take off, and they were trying to get alumni teams. I think someone reached out to me on LinkedIn because they were like, managers are usually the ones that are a connection between all the different years and kind of have this management experience and of organizing teams. And so they were like, we'd love to have a JMU alumni team. So you could say it kind of first started in 2016. We kind of put some small efforts in those years, but it just didn't get anywhere. And then put some stronger efforts in. That's back when you had to get votes to get in. And we were the last team out in 2019. I want to say it was the summer of 2018 that we were the last team out. And then fast forward, we finally got accepted in 2021. Participated in TBT in 21 and 22, and then now we're back in 25. So definitely, my men's basketball manager experience is what got me involved and has what's motivated me to want to keep this going too, because the affinity I have for JMU and JMU basketball.
Well, it's been exciting over the last couple of weeks, just seeing the roster come together and some of the big names that are going to be a part of this team. Talk a little bit about how that roster does come together. What entails in terms of, first of all, identifying people who are interested in the tournament, but then actually bringing them together to form a team in a kind of relatively short period of time to be ready to take the court in Harrisonburg on the 18th.
Yeah, this year has been really unique because we have some hype around hosting. We have some hype because we played before, so there's been a lot more inbound. But I also, because I'm now 9 years removed from the team, have less direct access to players that I've had when we were building the team in 21 and 22, right? A lot of the players that were still active professionally were players that I was with and had direct contact, and that's not the case anymore. So it's been a weird mix of it's been easier, but also harder at the same time. But Ron Curry and Andre Nation have been two of our keystones through this. We obviously announced Andre Nation over the weekend, and breaking news here on JMU Sound Off, Ron Curry will also be joining us again this year. We just haven't publicly announced it. So if you're tuning in, you heard it here first. Ron Curry will be back, our leading scorer from 2022. So excited to have them. And so they've kind of been our keystones through all these years of we start with them because I worked with them, of course. And then from there, we just build out. And even, if you think since 2022, the last time we played, JMU men's basketball has been on this incredible trajectory, whether it's regular season conference championships, conference tournament championships, NCAA tournament wins. And so it was a lot of asking for numbers from current players that we had connections with. And I would honestly say Terell Pope, who was a walk-on on the past couple of years teams, and now he's transitioning to a GA. I think he's the only person that's been on the last 3 years. He's been on the roster the last 3 years and will be part of the team this year. So he's actually been super helpful. So he's the one that I know Terell Strickland is joining us later on this podcast. But that's how we got in touch with Terell, right? Is just trying to find who that person is that can get us in touch with these people. Sometimes it's Instagram DMs, and then from there it just exponentially grows when you almost building a network, right? You got to get one, and then you can get everyone else to come through.
So what did you learn from your past experience of this tournament that's helping you as you form this roster for this year's edition? I'm sure you take lessons that you've experienced in the past to really shape what your direction is going forward with this tournament.
Yeah, one is you need really good big men, and that's anything, right? There's a ton of good guards out there, but big men are hard to come by. We've actually never had a JMU affiliated big man in the past, and so we're super excited to have two of those this year. And Alonzo Sule and Elijah Hutchins Everett. I would say that's one of the biggest ones, and also the importance of doing some kind of training camp or something beforehand, because probably each player who's on the roster has played with no more than 3 other guys on the roster too. So we need to get in the gym. They're professionals. They know how to play. We're not here to overcoach them. Just roll the ball out and let them play. But they need to get a little gym time with each other before we actually kick things off on July 18th. So we are going to have a couple practices in Harrisonburg leading up to our first game on July 18th. So that's certainly really important for us as well.
Yeah. So people who are watching this who may not be familiar with this tournament at all, who don't have a background, give you some of the basics, just maybe TBT 101. At what level of basketball are we talking about for fans who might be interested in purchasing a ticket, not only to see this team, but some of the other teams that are going to be making their way to Harrisonburg?
Yeah, so at its core, it's just $1 million winner-take-all basketball tournament. So we're out here playing for $1 million. In theory, it's an open to all tournament. Anyone could put a team in. But obviously, if you and me were to try to get a roster of 3 of our other friends who weren't necessarily professional hoopers, that wouldn't go anywhere. But so it is high-level basketball. Everyone who is on the roster has or will play professional basketball, and that's not just our team. And there's literally former NBA guys. The biggest names: Montrezl Harrell, DJ Burns from NC State. He's on some rosters, some other teams. So there's some names that fans will know. A ton of G League guys. We have one ourselves. One of our non-JMU guys, Justin Kyer, the Harrisonburg native, right? He's had some G League time. So it is legit basketball, and it's a 64-team tournament down to one team to win the $1 million. And TBT was also the ones that popularized the Elam ending, as they call it. How the NBA hasn't used the term Elam ending, but they use the target score term for their All-Star game, and that was first done in TBT. Even some other little things, like now you see every NCAA sport, not just basketball, how they move the bracket tag along the bracket when they slap it on the board. That started in TBT, all that stuff too. But TBT, they're quick games, and the Elam ending gets things exciting. Every game ends on a game-winning shot. It's a 30-point score. But it's been exciting, and we're super thrilled to be a part of it this year and host, which was a surprise out of nowhere.
Yeah, I had a chance to see it the last time I went to the Siegel Center in Richmond, and just the atmosphere is incredible. And again, a really high level of basketball. Talk about who's going to be leading this squad from a coaching perspective. I know you've brought some big names as well into the fold who come with a rich experience in the basketball world as well.
Yeah, so I'll obviously be participating as a coach as well. So general manager and assistant coach. Our head coach is Kevin Albright, he's been the one that we run the team together since 2016. So he's kind of assistant GM, head coach, and I'm the opposite. He was a men's basketball manager, then a GA, and then a video coordinator for JMU. Spent, I think, 8 years in total at JMU, and then spent about 3 or 4 years coaching at Rowan University, Division III, up in New Jersey, which ironically, the head coach of the team we're playing in the first round, Next Era Elite, Eric Brennan, is now the head coach at Rowan and was an assistant with Kevin when they were at Rowan. So Kevin's coaching against one of his former coworkers. Dimitri Chabarkova, former men's player, was there 5 seasons. Extremely likable guy. He was actually a player on our roster the first year, but he's joining us as a coach this year. He does some really cool stuff, like sports science stuff. That's his background. He's a PhD now, operating a basketball research lab at the University of Kansas, and he goes to Serbia. He's in Serbia right now 6 times a year to open a lab and do research there. He works with Jokic and other Serbians and stuff too. It's pretty legit. So he'll joining us as an assistant coach. Nikki Newman. If you don't put a gender qualifier on it, it's hard to talk about JMU basketball without including the women's program, obviously 4th winningest program of all time. So it was a no-brainer to have Nikki a part of it. Has college coaching experience from Harrisonburg. She's been a part of it in the past with us. And then Ian Caskell, we haven't publicly announced that one either, but Ian will be a part of it as well. Ian, former player, former professional player, and then former women's assistant coach, who lives now with me here in Charlottesville, and he'll be joining us as well on the coaching staff.
Yeah, and he's been somebody who's been on the show before, a great knowledge of the game and a great passion for JMU. I want to ask you about the Atlantic Union Bank Center. How exciting it is to have a venue like this now in Harrisonburg that can be such a great site to host such a high level of basketball during the summer months. It's got to be cool for you guys as well.
Yeah, it's super cool. And I mean, if you had told me a year ago today that we would play in TBT, I would have said no. And if you said host, I would have said definitely no. We had all but I wouldn't say given up, but we had stopped. We had decided we were going to not play in TBT anymore just because it got too expensive. And that's not basically in 2022, it was still free. Now there's entry fee. And so we were just it's a lot of effort and work to fundraise and all that stuff. And so I do have to give a major shout out. We have a bunch of different sponsors and different things, but Jake Coons is the one that really stepped up. Jake Coons and Dead Meat Society. So extreme shout out to Jake, the Dead Meat Society. Check them out. They'll stuff will be all over our jerseys. You'll hear more about them as time goes on. But we literally wouldn't have been able to do it without kind of Jake being our premier sponsor, underwriting most of the funds to get us in this year. Because beyond entry fee, we have to pay for travel and hotels, right? We want these guys to have a free experience. We want it to be appealing to them. And so it was in the fall, excuse me, in the winter, December again, we had pretty much written off ever doing this again. TBT called me and they said, "Hey, we're going to do a regional in Charlottesville because UVA alumni is going to put a team in." And so they were like, "We really want you because you have a fan base with Richmond and Harrisonburg, and we'd love for you to do it." So that's where we kind of started exploring and ultimately got in touch with Jake to get the money. I live in Charlottesville, so selfishly, I was like, "This is great." And I say all this because also have to give a major shout out to Ty Phillips and Kurt, who runs the Atlanta Union Bank Center, because we had gotten a team in and fully expected UVA in Charlottesville. We had nothing to do with it getting to AUBC. They did all that on their own because they wanted it and they wanted to host. And so we are so grateful for them that they did do all they had to do and put all the effort they had to put in to get it transitioned from Charlottesville to Harrisonburg once UVA alumni team dropped. I was not a part of those conversations. I didn't do any of that. Again, I'm saying that because that's all a credit to Ty Phillips and JMU for like seeing value in this and seeing value in our alumni team and wanting to grow with us. So incredibly thrilled to be playing at home. I think that helped us recruit some guys too. Yeah, here we are, and it's going to be a blast back in Harrisonburg.
Yeah, and I think your point too, just about the excitement around this part, I actually think it has potential to really help the current JMU basketball roster as well, because anything that brings excitement to basketball in the Harrisonburg area just as a rising tide, it helps continue to enhance a brand that's on the rise already. Obviously, Mark Byington, Matt Brady, I was very close to Coach Brady when he was here and the job that he did. And now we're seeing with Preston Spradlin, the trajectory of this program continue to rise. I know you mentioned some of the big name players on this roster, Marcus Freeman, Andre Nation. There's another player on this roster who's maybe a little bit less known for his basketball talents, more known for the great work that he does to the Duke Club. Talk a little bit about Scooter Renkin and what you think you're going to get from him, not only with his ability to maybe chirp when he's on the court, but he can sling the basketball around pretty well as well.
Yeah, Scooter can go, right? Like he hasn't played professionally in a couple of years, but he was a walk-on at JMU for a year and then was a D2 national runner-up. Was roommates with current assistant coach on the men's team, right? Like, and he played pro a couple of years. So Scooter can hoop. And I mean, our first year, he had 10 points, I think, 10 points, 4 rebounds, drew a charge. Like Scooter can go. And we're really excited to have him, just his personality and the connection to JMU. And he's great putting us in touch with people. But again, like he's not just there because he's Scooter. He's there because he can also play basketball. And he'll be great in practice. And he'll give us some like minutes off the bench, right? He can still shoot. He can go. And I know Matt Rowan said a couple times to me, he's like, we really need Scooter out on the court. He's been begging for Scooter to start. So we'll see how training camp goes and we go from there. But it's really cool to have Scooter a part of the team as someone that's, again, not just there to be there, but someone that can actually contribute in different ways.
Well, Joe, I wonder if Scooter will have like a little Duke Club tag on the bottom of it. Say, maybe you can donate here if he makes a certain number of baskets. Maybe we'll come up with something.
We should do that. We are going to have, one of our sponsors, on behalf of Duke Club, Cliff Wood also was one of our sponsors on behalf of Duke Club. So there'll be some Duke Club signage by our bench as well. So shout out to Cliff for that.
Cliff has been an incredible supporter of our podcast. We'll break some news too. The Deadbeat Society is going to be coming on board, supporting Sound Off as we move into our new season, season 4 in August. I did want to ask, because you kind of teed it up, what the support of JMU Athletics has meant, and somebody like Matt Roan, who I know is very excited, obviously, about this coming to the AUBC, and again, what it could potentially do for JMU basketball.
Yeah, as we don't have a mission statement per se, but as Kevin and I have always done this, like we want it. Obviously, selfishly, we want to win. Selfishly, we want this to be fun and be cool and all that stuff. But we love and have an affinity for JMU men's basketball and just JMU basketball in general. And we want this to help grow the brand of that. And that's always been our goal. We don't make any money of this. I take no salary. Kevin takes no salary. We don't even pay our players, right? Again, we're just providing experience with flights and trains and hotels and all that stuff and food. But it's not a money-making venture. I want this to be something that helps grow JMU and help grow JMU men's basketball brand. And there's no better way to continue that going by hosting it and getting more fans and excited about, it is the downtime for not just basketball, but it's a downtime for college sports. This is a way to provide another touch point for JMU fans, which we know is a very passionate fan base, and another touch point for JMU basketball that is, like I said, it's on the rise since when we played in 21 and 22. So like this is going to be the most exciting time of JMU basketball that we've had this team.
Well, and the Shenandoah Valley is known for rich basketball tradition, a lot of talent coming out of the area. So this is not just an opportunity for fans of JMU basketball to make their way to the AUBC to see some high quality basketball. This is an opportunity for basketball fans in general from around not only the Shenandoah Valley, Central Virginia, Northern Virginia, who are looking for a great way to spend some time and again see some high level talent who are still playing professionally, hoop it up in Harrisonburg. I want to go over before we bring in our player for a part of this segment. Give you a chance one more time to just go over the logistics. I know it's July 18th through the 23rd. How can people get tickets for this tournament? And then if they're not able to make it to Harrisburg, these games are also televised as well, correct?
Yes. So July 18th is our first round game, assuming we keep winning. It's every other day. So July 18th, July 20th, and July 22nd will be our games. All three of those games are guaranteed to be at UBC. We are going to win, but even if we don't win, all 7 games for this regional are going to be at AUBC. So it'll be a quadruple header Friday. So not even just JMU, right? There's going to be Penn State alumni, Maryland alumni. Juan Dixon's going to be coaching a basketball team. I guess he already has. I think he was coaching Coppin State when they came to AUBC. But Juan Dixon, Melo Trimble's on that Maryland team, right? So there's some big names. And then there'll be the region semifinals on Sunday with 2 games, and the finals on that Tuesday, the 20th or 22nd. With 2 games. Fans can buy tickets either on TBT's website, tbthoops.com, or JMU Sports, jmutickets.com, tbthoops.com, and jmutickets.com. We're on Instagram. We're on Twitter. We'd love to have as many people out there as we can. I promise you'll have a good time. It's a really fun event. And it's fun because it's like it is competitive basketball, but it's also like somewhat a glorified AAU tournament. So it's more like leisure, but also like we're in it to win it and we're here to play. So from a fan experience, I would say it's like more leisurely, right? Like you're not as life or death sometimes as a regular season game, which even then you could argue probably isn't life or death, but to some fans it is. And so we just want fans to come out and have a good time, get loud for us, and cheer us on, and hopefully get our first TBT win.
Well, Joe, I'm going to give you a chance to introduce the player we're about to bring on. First of all, we can name him in a second, but tell us what kind of basketball player he is as well, and what he's going to bring to this roster.
Yeah, super excited to add to Terell Strickland to our roster this year. And I can honestly say he's been one of the best players we've had to work with this summer and in recruiting. And obviously he can go and hoop very well. He comes from a basketball family, super knowledgeable of the game. It was very important to Kevin and I this year that we since a lot of these players, like I didn't know Terell before this summer, right? Or before TBT, that we almost did like character references. And so when Pope or somebody else would give us a name, I would ask 2 or 3 other people. I'd say, just want to make sure this guy is not going to like mess up any mojo of the team or anything like that. And I can genuinely say Terell got some of the best reviews I've got on some of those references. And so it was super exciting to add him. People said he's going to be awesome. He's going to be great. And I don't disagree once with him. He's been awesome. He's been great. He's gotten everything done on time when I asked him to. And I just know that's going to translate to some good basketball on the court too. And cool to kind of connect some players back to the Byington area as well, which I'm sure Terell can talk about too.
Awesome. Well, Joe, thanks for joining us. I'm going to bring on Terell now. And Terell, first of all, welcome to JMU Sound Off. It's really cool to get an opportunity to hear from you again and see what you're doing now. For fans who may not be familiar with your game, you were from 2022, 2023, I believe, 2 CA seasons and 1 in the Sun Belt, correct?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. So what does it mean to you to be able to come back now to Harrisonburg and put on a slightly different version of the JMU jersey, the founding fathers, but still, dripped in purple and to get a chance to play in front of the great fans of JMU basketball one more time?
It's amazing. Like even now I'm getting hype. I'm getting chills just thinking about the experience. For the people who knew me while I was there, I think I have some unfinished business too. Even though I transferred out, I still am always a Duke for life. And, there's a lot of things that I just can't wait to feel when I get back in that arena, and the energy and the excitement, and to play with a few of my old teammates. It's just going to feel really nice, and I'm excited for it.
So bring us back to your playing days. What was so special about playing in Harrisonburg and playing for JMU basketball? I mean, and obviously the competitive nature of both the CAA and the Sun Belt lend itself to some great basketball, but the fan base, the pep band. What was for you the specialist part of putting on that JMU jersey? In addition, obviously, to playing with some tremendous players and teammates who I know you had the pleasure of experiencing during your time.
You could just tell it meant something. Like even in my recruiting process, when I was talking to Coach Byington, talking to Coach Crimmins, and there was a new arena being built. My first season, we went from last place to first place in the conference. So you could just tell that every win, everything meant a lot at JMU. And that starts off the basketball court, the classroom, all my classes, like all my teachers. I had great relationships with all my teachers. I had great relationships with a lot of my classmates. And it was just a nice experience. You walk around, even the campus is super nice. The food even is super nice. So like you know what I'm saying? Everything
Yeah.
it all translates, kind of how he was saying about what I'm doing off the court. Like it all translates. And so you could tell everything meant more at JMU. And I really like that. And for the people who knew me, I was a very energetic player. Like every possession, every game meant a lot to me. And I
Yep.
put a lot of myself into the game. And so it was nice being surrounded by that also.
So I have to ask you, you mentioned some of the great things about Harrisonburg and being part of JMU. Is there something you're looking forward to off the basketball court that's in Harrisonburg, whether it's a restaurant, a place that you loved when you were a student, anything you're like, I got to get there when I get back to JMU?
Absolutely. For my roommates, they know this. The Chinese spot right around the corner from the AUBC, Oriental Cafe. The salt and pepper shrimp with the fried shrimp and chicken fried rice used to be my go-to meal. Anytime I needed a good meal, that was the spot. They knew my name. I come say hi to their turtles all the time. So I'm
That's awesome.
definitely
Well, I'm sure they're excited for you to make your way back. I want to give a chance now to talk about some of the fellow players who are going to be joining on this squad. Some of which I'm sure you have familiarity with, some of you don't. Talk about some of the players you do have familiarity with, and what kind of impact do you think you all can make on the court together?
Alonzo Sule, he was my big man for 2 of the years that I was at JMU, and our birthdays are actually the same day, so we're we're pretty close. We're pretty similar, or I don't know if they're the same day, but they're really close. I can't remember exactly, but he was my big man, so we obviously have that connection. Just I know what he's going to pick and pop. He's an explosive athlete, so I'm looking forward to being able to throw some lobs. Drop offs in the paint. He can do his own work. He worked on his perimeter game overseas now, so I'm excited for that. Terell Pope, great guy, just energy dude, always keeps it real, even from his role on the team. And then Mark Freeman, it's kind of crazy. We played together in like first and second grade back in Memphis,
Oh, wow.
and so yeah, it's really cool seeing him there. So me and him just connected again, and so it'll be cool being back on the court with him, reconnecting with him. So yeah, those are some of the dudes. I'm not sure who else is. I know Scooter Rankin. We used to show up to the UREC. We used to show up to the UREC, and he'd be in there hooping. He'd be getting buckets.
There you go.
Who else? I think that's it. I think that's it that I know personally.
So I want to ask you, just from a player's perspective, obviously tournaments like USA Basketball, when players come together for a short period of time, there's a chemistry, there's a learning curve. How are you approaching this from, there's going to be a training camp, obviously, but to probably the key to winning a tournament like this is a team that can build that chemistry, develop it quicker, are going to have a tremendous advantage over teams who struggle early on, because you want to get off to a good start. How do you think that this team is going to come together so quickly and try to form that chemistry and try to gel to be able to make sure that when you hit game one, you're ready to go?
I think kind of like he was saying, we all play basketball. We all know basketball. So the easiest part is trusting each other, trusting that the other person next to us knows what they're doing, what they have the ball and when they don't have the ball. And I think the 2 extra days that we'll have before, just to learn what everybody does, learn what we can trust about each other, will be important. I've been playing in some men's leagues while I've been back home in Tampa, and you can even see how like the first game is always going to be shaky.
Yeah.
So having those 2 extra days to get those kinks out will be very important, because now you trust certain dudes, and you know who's the scorer, you know who's going to pass, you know where he's going to be, and things like that. So I think it's going to be fine. And yeah, we're going to have vets. We're going to have younger. I'm one of the younger dudes, but I'm one of the older dudes on the college end. So it's going to be cool to see the way all that blends in. And more than anything, it's going to be a learning experience for me, even for the older dudes maybe who are still continuing to play pro. So it'll just be a lot of fun, and we all are there to play for JMU.
That's awesome. I want to give you a chance to talk about what you're doing now in your basketball career, because you still have your sights on professional basketball, and I know you're exploring some different options. Take us inside what your summer looks like outside of the TBT, and what might come next for you in the pro ranks.
Yeah, so after the season ended, I took some time off. Just had to get my body right, get my mind right, and dive back into it. And now I'm training. I'm down in Tampa, Florida right now. I've been working out, lifting a lot nonstop, getting back in that game shape, playing in men's leagues, like I just said, and just reconnecting myself, grounding myself, getting ready for this. This has been my motivation for the whole summer. Yep. And then after this, I'm planning on going overseas. I have an agent in Greece, and just wherever the wind blows, I'm a very easygoing person. I'm down for the experience. I'm down for the ride, and I'm just excited for whatever's next.
Well, you took my question. I was going to ask. It has to be pretty just inspiring, exciting, whatever adjective you want to use, to be able to know that you're going to have a chance, likely, to play professional basketball, likely in a destination you've never been. The new cultures, new experience. That's got to be incredibly motivating as you continue to train and for what comes next. It's got to be exciting.
Yeah, one of the assistant coaches at LIU actually just told me, because I was stressing. I was like, I don't know what's coming next. Like, I don't know what's next. And he was like, but you know something's next.
Yeah.
I was like, you're right. That was my, like, that changed my whole mindset, where I just realized I don't know what it is, but I have to be ready for it. So, yeah.
Well, Terell, I'm going to give you one last chance to give your message to the fans of JMU basketball, the fans of just basketball in general in the Harrisonburg area, what it would mean to you to have a packed house at the AUBC to cheer this team on in just a couple of weeks.
Oh, I'm so excited. I was part of when we beat UVA at home. So you can see what the energy in the arena does for us on the court. And so I would love to have that same energy again. I feed off that energy. I'm sure all of my teammates do. And hopefully we can get some more dubs, get 3 dubs, and eventually get to that 6. So let's do it.
Well, I have to ask about that since you brought it up. What was that experience like to play in front of a sold-out crowd at the Atlantic Union Bank Center, to have UVA fans, JMU fans all there, and to have it end the way it did? That was a pretty special moment, not just in the history of JMU men's basketball, but really in the history of JMU sports altogether. Definitely one of my favorite games that I ever have a chance to see.
Man, even like in the game, you don't even realize what's going on. And I think that game I ended up being one of the leading scorers. And I was just like, I didn't realize, like, it didn't even click to me. And I remember we played Radford, like, that game was on a Tuesday. We played Radford that Friday. And we almost lost the game against Radford. And we were like, we can't beat UVA. We can't have this amazing game and then go in and spoil it right afterwards. So it kind of, like, you realize how, like, that impact kind of boosted our own confidence. That boosted what we wanted to do for the season. And yeah, that experience was amazing. I can't even put into words.
The clock at 0 on that. That was a pretty special moment.
It was crazy.
Well, Terell, I wish you the best in your training before you make it up to Harrisonburg for training camp. And we're going to be there cheering you on in the stands. I'm going to bring your GM back one more time so you can give fans of the Founding Fathers one more overview of what we need to do to make sure they're in the seats. Joe, final thoughts on today's episode. What do fans need to know if they want to be in the seats July 18th through the 23rd? How do they get tickets? And give just one closing message of why this is so important.
Yeah, tbthoops.com or jmutickets.com. It's important for the growth of JMU basketball program, as you alluded to. Just have a touch point and excitement during the summer. These guys have been working hard on their own. We've been working hard from an administrative standpoint, so we'd love for the fans to show up and help our hard work pay off. And we didn't quite talk about it yet, but even if we were to win our region and we're matched up against the West Virginia region for the quarterfinals, if West Virginia wins that regional, the tiebreaker for who gets to host the quarterfinals is who sold 4,000 tickets first.
Oh, wow.
So if fans buy tickets and we get that 4,000 number first, and we're both playing West Virginia, or we win and West Virginia wins, then that quarterfinal game is also going to be at AUBC. So
that's pretty awesome. Well, and
there's
again,
actually the fans can have some impact in that way.
Exactly.
So.
And fans who are watching this, it's hot outside. This is a great opportunity to get out of the heat, get inside the Atlantic Union Bank Center, watch some great basketball. And again, your support of these athletes not only shows your appreciation for what they did when they played at JMU, but it also gives a chance to, again, lift the brand of JMU basketball as we go into what will be another important season for this program in Sunbelt basketball. So, guys, thanks for spending some time with us. Again, fans, you can get your tickets, tbthoops.com. It's got to have all the information about not only the JMU and the Founding Fathers introduction to this tournament, but the broader tournament as well. And guys, we'll be cheering you on. And as always, we end every program with Go Duke. Stay tuned over the days and weeks to come. We'll have additional information on our social channels about this tournament. We'll continue to cover them as they make their way through the regional, again, July 18th through the 23rd. We'll talk to you guys soon, and Go Dukes.